Oh dear. If something is important to you, you should voice your opinion about it. Don't let people tell you you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't have that opinion. That's not a good opinion. Those aren't nice words. That's not polite. Here's the deal. You don't want people in your life who are going to judge your character based on the words that come out of your mouth. You want people who are going to look at where you're coming from, and you want people who are going to look at the context of your words, which are vastly more important things. Don't be a parasite. Don't be a seagull sitting on the sidelines waiting for the outcome of the battle. Get in there. Get your elbows dirty and push the pendulum like everybody else. Have an opinion, have a voice. Be the wolf, don't be the sheep. There's a lot of folks saying, oh, there's too much side-taking going on. There's too much me versus them mentality. Things aren't black and white. Okay, first of all, tribalism is human nature. The moment you cease to be a child depending on your parents, you become an adult and you perpetuate a degree of tribalism. You associate with people who like the things you do. You join Facebook groups with people who view things the way you do. You follow people on Twitter. You befriend people who like the movies, who like the games that you do, all right? Don't give me this, oh, we shouldn't be tribalistic crap. That's a bullshit excuse to avoid an argument. The reason we have tribes is because there are more people in the world than directions in which the pendulum can swing. Things will change, the pendulum will swing, and if you decide to sit on the fence like a parasite and ignore your right to free speech that people fought and died for, then soon enough you're going to find yourself living in a world you don't want to live in. If you don't contribute to the collective consciousness of society, that makes you a parasite. That makes you a parasite on the back of social political change. Have an opinion. I'm not even saying pick a side. I'm not saying we should succumb to mob mentality. Tribalism isn't the problem. Allowing tribalism to replace independent thought, that's your problem right there. Don't be a sheep. Be a wolf. You have to be able to chew off your own leg. You have to be able to think for yourself. Tribalism, however, is human nature. You might not pick a side, but you'll sure as shit find yourself on one sooner or later. And it's a bullshit excuse. Oh, there's too much me versus them mentality. Things aren't black and white. No, not everything is black and white, but you do get shades of grey. Things are generally speaking black, white, light or dark. Why? Because there are majorities to every survey, and there are trends to every study. The problem is not tribalism. Now, I'm not saying we should be mobs. I'm not saying we should think like the group. I actually believe more in individual rights than group rights. I don't care about groups. I don't care for groups. I don't care for tribes myself at all. When I was at school, I hated being lumped into a group and everyone in that group had to contribute equally to the painting or to the calculation or to whatever the project was. Whether you could paint or not, doesn't matter. You have to contribute equally. Whether you have a mathematical mind or not, doesn't matter. You have to contribute to it equally. Why? The individual is more important than the group, I'm sorry. Empire State Building is a great example. It may have been built by several hundred people, but it was designed and planned by two blokes who paid those people to build it. You see? The rights of the individual are very important. So I'm not saying we should just be mobs. No, I'm saying the whole black and white argument, the whole tribalism argument, you're basically saying we shouldn't have a world with conflict. How do you make a world without conflict? Everyone becomes at odds with each other. Me, for example, I tend to be more right of center. I'm probably more conservative than anything. I believe very heavily in personal accountability and personal responsibility. I think the side of bed you get out of in the morning is your choice. When you open the front door in the morning, not everything that happens to you is your fault, but it is your responsibility. You got to take charge of yourself and your life. You are not the world's problem. So I'm not a big fan of welfare. I'm not a big supporter of socialism. I love capitalism. I love it because it allows me to get paid doing what I love. The whole bottom-up philosophy of socialism doesn't really resonate with me because not everyone is an entrepreneur. There are very few Walt Disneys out there. There are very few John Lasseters. There are very few Bill Gates, very few Steve Jobses. Very few people think big. But the small selection of people who do think big are nurtured and supported by capitalism, which in turn allows me to make good money doing what I love doing. So I love capitalism. I also love meritocracy. This notion that everyone should get a trophy just for contributing, just for taking part, fuck off with that idea, seriously. The sun does not revolve around the earth. It might look that way from our perspective, but zoom out a bit, it's the earth revolving around the sun. You are not the world's problem. You need to change for the world. Reality doesn't change for you. Okay, so that's my position on things. I'm very pro-individual. I'm very pro-merit. Oh, we should have more women in STEM. We should have more black people. I don't give a fuck about those labels. I care about the person's merit, the person's skill, the person's character. That's it. You might feel differently from that. You might think, well, Nick, some people have a hard life. We need socialism. We need welfare. Some people have a bad deck of cards. It's true. Some people are dealt very bad cards in life. Life sucks for a lot of people. A disgusting amount of people are desperately poor. Yeah, it's true. Life sucks. But I'm sorry, the only person who takes responsibility for your problems at the end of the day is you. So I'm going to push the pendulum in that direction. You might disagree. You're going to push the pendulum in the opposite direction. And here we go. You've got other people on your side over there who think the way you do, as do I. Because like I said, there are more people in the world than there are directions in which the pendulum can swing. That's why we have tribes. That's why we have groups. That's not a bad thing. We need teams. It's a big bloody pendulum and there's a lot of fucking people in the world. You'll find yourself on a side whether you like it or not. That's not the problem. The problem is allowing it to replace your independent thought. You need to think like an individual. And the last thing I want to say, when you are expressing your views and you are making your opinions known, you must not punch down. You must not be nasty. You must not be derogatory. Don't disparage people. If your argument is sound, what the hell are you bringing out the big names for and the big words for? You've got all the ammunition you need in having a logical argument. If you're someone on the internet who has a following, if you have a reputation, don't punch down. You can seriously fuck up somebody's day. You can ruin somebody's day by bringing out names and being nasty and being cruel. And it's completely unnecessary if you have a valid point. Think for yourself, be the wolf. Stop using tribalism as a cop-out. It's human nature. Most important thing, don't let anyone tell you you can't say that. You shouldn't say that. What the hell does that mean? That means you're not looking past my words. And it means you don't altogether agree with free speech. Anyway, I'm done. That's me. I'm going to go get another milkshake.